Today on Lockdown Red Wings, Detroit loses a sloppy game in overtime to the Montreal Canadiens.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Lockdown Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fischer and Scotty Bentley. I'm a podcast producer for the Daily JAWWJ News Radio podcast, while Scotty is the host over at Locked On Tigers, as well as a freelance journalist for the Detroit News. Scotty, I'm repping my Tigers hat today in commemoration of our new play-by-play host, or play-by-play voice for the Detroit Tigers. Host is on the brain, man. I don't want to tell you. And one of the best in the game, man.
Yeah, that's, if you're interested in that my entire episode, essentially, of Locked On Tigers today was just about bringing him in and how cool it is. So, yeah,
I mean, if
very,
you want,
very fun day. Obviously, we're about to talk about a very frustrating loss. That'll be what this show's about. But still a pretty cool day in the city of Detroit.
Or we spend the 20 minutes building up to our preview of the Blue Jackets game, just talking about that instead, because I'd rather do that than talk about another letdown by the Detroit Red Wings.
I've already done that today.
You haven't done it with a second person. Ask my thoughts on it.
I'm good.
I'm hurt. I'm honestly hurt. And you know what? When you feel hurt, guys, you should head over to Jace Medical, who is sponsoring today's episode. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jace case, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50-plus infections. Get yours today at jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com. Yeah, Scotty. Not an inspiring performance yet again by the Detroit Red Wings as they fall 3-2 in overtime to the Montreal Canadiens. They pick up a point, but I honestly couldn't care less about that loser point because I thought the team played like hot garbage again. And yeah, here I come coming in incendiary in this one because I'm very frustrated. We talked a lot and we keep bringing it up, but we knew when they were playing really, really well to start the season on that 5-game win streak that it was going to end and that they were going to regress. And we knew the underlying numbers didn't look good. But we were saying when they regress, they should regress to still a competitive team. Well, in the last 8 games, they've won 2, one of which was in overtime. And I think 2 of those losses came in overtime as well. But still, I mean, what seg put them at 2-4-2 in the last 8, if my math works out there. I mean, that's not a great stretch of hockey by them. And in that entire span, it feels like it's slowly been declining in performance as well. Obviously, this was a better game than the game against the New York Rangers. I won't deny that. But you were also playing a much worse team. So that helped cover up some of the blemishes. If you played like this against the New York Rangers, they would have gotten shelled again. And to their credit, I did think, Scotty, that the Red Wings came out of the gates, and I thought they played with a spark at the start of the game. I thought they played fast. I thought they were playing hard, and I thought they were getting opportunities because of it. Dylan Larkin hit a post. This team hits a lot of posts for some reason. I think they're just a little bit snake-bitten. They had an insane shooting percentage to start the year. Now it feels like they're hitting every possible post. Even on JT Compher's goal, hit the post first. But, after that 2-on-1 developed, 2-on-2 initially until Seider was clipped and fell and they missed that call. But you know what? Red Wings had 5 or 6 power plays, so I can't really complain too much about the reffing in this game. But Seider was clipped and he fell. It was a missed call, led to a 2-on-1 bang, and then everything kind of crumbled after that, and it just felt so sloppy. And that's the best way I can use to describe it.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. It this was a bleep show of a hockey game. We can just kind of call it what it is. This the fact that it even went to overtime, I didn't even think we'd get that far at points in the game. I thought you got outplayed at even strength. The power play has continued to snuff since the hot start early. We'll talk about goaltending. I'm sure that'll be a prominent part of today's show at some point. We'll talk about that. But, it's funny. We had the 3 keys to the game, right?
Yeah.
And then we had top line producing. We had off to an early start, and we had goaltending. And I think there's a legitimate argument you went 0-for-3 on our 3 keys to the game.
I mean, because you really only played half of the first period with a decent pace and brought pressure until that goal happened, and it just kind of fell apart after that. And, those 3 keys of the game, I have a funny feeling that they're going to be the same 3 keys to the game for our preview at the end of this episode as well.
Yeah.
I mean, just the team feels lifeless right now. And I get that goal is really deflating, but they're losing every single corner battle. They're losing every single race to the puck. This team outside of Joe Veleno and Dylan Larkin, who absolutely fly, this team looks slow. And I mean, I knew Perron was slow, and I knew Daniel Sprong didn't have the biggest pep in his step either. But the team just looks slow. Like I said, every single corner battle they're losing. Every single race to the puck they're losing. As soon as pressure comes, they turn it over. I mean, Jeff Petrie, I get that. I know Moritz Seider had a penalty. I think Jake Wallman may have had a penalty. He did have a penalty as well. So I understand that taking 2 minutes in the box or less than that, if the other team's scoring power play goals, because Nick Suzuki did have a power play goal, as did Cole Caufield, is gonna
Suzuki, man. I don't know if that's sacrilegious because interdivision, we're supposed to be rivals with the Habs or whatever. I love watching him play hockey.
He's had a really interesting hockey journey to being the captain of the Montreal Canadiens. I don't fault you for that at all. I think he's a fun player to watch too. Just in this game, I wish he wasn't so fun to watch. I mean, and not to say the Montreal Canadiens were some dominant team either. They look sloppy for what it's worth too.
Yeah,
but that's the problem is this is a rebuilding team, and you're a team trying to come out of the rebuild with a on paper roster that is so much better than them. And you just got how do I say this without throwing profanities out there? You just got beat up by the New York Rangers. And I was expecting a big statement game at home. I shouldn't use the word statement loosely, but I was expecting a response at home.
You should just take care of business. This doesn't need to be oh, wow. They, this is this is Bruins 2.0. It's a statement win. This is some big deal. You should probably just beat teams you're better than. This is a team that across every single person in the hockey world, every single person, every single media member, everybody who made a preseason prediction about how our division was going to play out, 100% of them had the Habs finishing in 8th.
Yeah.
That's the end of the discussion. You should beat teams you're better than when you're trying to take the next step and be on that even to the fringe playoff spot, right? The 7th place team in this division is going to be good. And so, yeah, even to take that step and to be in the mix, you need to just beat teams you're better than, man. And I'm not trying to the season's not over because of a loss on Thursday in November, but this is just a really frustrating loss. And when
frustrating stretch.
Correct. And that's my point I was going to get to is when you're coming off of this loss to the Rangers, I said it after yesterday's show or at the end of yesterday's show, rather, I was if you just kind of burn the tape on the Rangers and you go and you beat 2 teams you're better than in Columbus and in Montreal in the next 2 nights, then this is easily digestible being the Rangers game.
Yeah.
If you go out there and do what you did tonight, it's far less digestible and it sucks. And this game sucks.
This game absolutely did suck. I mean, they lost the face-off battle. Canadiens had 31 wins. The Red Wings 27. Power plays.
It was timely face-offs too, man. That's, you know what I mean? We can that's a stat that I wish there was. We weight goal opportunities and whatever. I wish that we weighed face-off importance. I wish that we could have a formula to do that, because I swear to you, every single time the face-off mattered, or it was ice in our zone, or it was a special teams opportunity or something like that, we lost every single, it felt obviously it's not going to be every single, but they lost a boatload of meaningful face-offs in this game. That's something that this team's been trying to find for years.
Well,
right?
Larkin's supposedly really good. Rasmussen's supposedly really good. Copp is supposedly really good. Compher supposedly really good, but it feels like you're supposed to have 4 guys who are supposedly really good in the face-off circle, and yet none of them can win a face-off. It's ridiculous. And it's not just there, right? They went 0-for-4 on the power play yet again. They revamped their power play. Raymond was down low. You had Wallman and Seider on the power play unit as well, with Larkin and DeBrincat. And power play 2 was Petrie on point, which I don't get. They scratched Gostisbehere, which, I mean, I get you're trying to make a statement, because the entire team played bad, and Lalone said in particular Ghost had a bad game. I don't know. It's hard for me to parse through that when the whole team played like ass in that game. So to scratch one of your best producing defensemen and make that your statement is a little bizarre to me after a game where everyone played like garbage it is so weird. But then your penalty kill sucks too. You went 3 for 5 success rate. They scored 2 power play goals. And then the damningest of them all, 10 giveaways to the Canadiens 1. Now the giveaway stat is a little wonky at times. It's
it can
not
be
necessarily
subjective at times. For
yeah,
sure.
especially by, stats are usually taken by the home team. But if the home team statistician is giving your team 10 giveaways and the other team just 1, then you know something went wrong. And Jeff Petrie, Ben Sherratt, that pair, no. We gotta stop this. Again, the defensive core on paper should be way better, yet it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like that. And I'm sorry if that comes off as reactionary, but I think Ghost has been good. I think Wallman and Sutter offensively have been pretty good. Defensively, they leave some stuff to be desired. I think Hull has been fine. But like as a unit, as a whole, I don't think I see a ton of improvement over last year. I still feel like they're giving up just as many, if not more, shot attempts against. They just completely collapse and abandon the slot. I don't know. I'm getting off on a tangent and beginning to rant. The point is you played down to your opponent in this one, and I don't know how to fix this. I'm not paid to fix this, but the team just looks very disjointed right now and out of touch. And I just don't know what the team has to do, what Lalonde has to do to fix this, because this team on paper should be a lot better than they are.
Let me run something by you real quick. 34 years old, only averaging 11 minutes and 41 seconds of ice time a night, but still winning 57.2% of faceoffs. Let's bring back Luke Glendening. It's time.
It's time.
It's time. Run him at 4C and put him out for every single meaningful faceoff. Let's run it. That's
where we're at. We're taking.
He's one of the best face-off people like in the league consistently throughout his career. Like that's only like half a joke. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Obviously, I'm not actually advocating for that, but like it is remarkable that they don't really have like a solidified guy. Yeah, that's going to be a big deal. I know it's a small thing, but it's something I bring up a lot. I know we got to get to a break here, but
yeah. So we'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll get a little bit more specific about certain players who did not perform before moving on to a Columbus Blue Jackets preview. I just combined blue and jackets there for a second. So stay tuned to Locked On Red Wings. Got to talk to you guys today about Parkview Advance. As a business owner, you realize there are times when receivables might fall behind, but that doesn't mean you need to fall behind on vendor payments, payroll, or rent. For more than 25 years, Parkview Advance has helped businesses secure working capital. From $5,000 to $1.5 million, Parkview Advance can approve your working capital in as little as 24 hours. It's a much easier process than you might imagine. We invite the many entrepreneurs that are Locked On NHL fans to learn more by calling us at 203-675-0071 or go to parkviewadvance.com. Again, that number is 203-675-0071. If your business needs working capital, call Parkview Advance today. Parkview Advance, helping businesses with their working capital. Go to parkviewadvance.com. Also got to talk to you guys today about Collective. If you run a small business, you're an army of one, but you still need a CPA, bookkeeper, separate payroll solution, and more. Let Collective take care of the paperwork while you take care of businesses. Collective is the #1 financial solution for freelancers, contractors, and self-employed entrepreneurs that lets you focus on your passion, not your paperwork. Let Collective handle all of that paperwork you dread, like corporate formation and compliance, taxes, bookkeeping, accounting, and even payroll. The best part, it's a fraction of the cost of a CPA. Join the thousands of solopreneurs who have saved an average of $10,000 per year on taxes with their structure. Right now, Collective is offering 1 free month and onboarding fee when you go to collective.com/LockedOnNHL and tell them Locked On NHL sent you. Again, that's a $550 value for free when you go to collective.com/LockedOnNHL and tell them Locked On NHL sent you. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. Scotty, oh my God, I just hit myself in the face with my microphone. That's how tonight went, guys.
That was crazy.
That is a physical manifestation of how the night went, is hitting yourself in the face. because that's what the Red Wings did. And notably, James Reimer did in overtime. I didn't think James Reimer had a good game, period. I mean, not to say that the goals he let in were softies, because I don't think they were. But I was watching him all night, and it felt like every single save he made by the skin of his teeth. It felt like he was having a real big problem tracking the puck in this game. A lot of last-second reflex saves, a lot of freezing because you don't know where the puck is. But then overtime rolls around, and he makes 2 incredible back-to-back saves, including on a breakaway coming off of a giveaway at center ice, one of those patented giveaways the Red Wings had in this game. Just to go to play the puck, run into a Montreal Canadien, whichever one is escaping me right now, and hold his stick, trying to make it look like he's being interfered with, when the play is going back down the ice the other way on a 2-on-1 with DeBrincat and Larkin, drawing a penalty. Reimer, what are you doing? Why are you holding on to him? Let him go. What are you trying to accomplish by doing that? I mean, he's trying to draw a call, but it was so blatantly obvious that he was like holding his stick. Even Mickey Redmond said, like, yeah, you got to make that call. So you put after having in my opinion, a lackluster game all night long, you make 2 miraculous saves back to back in overtime to keep the game in it. And then you just immediately give the game away, because you cannot be giving the other team power plays in overtime.
Well, it's probably to end OT too, right? It was the rest of overtime. Our best case scenario after that moment was a shootout. Yeah, man. He was good in overtime until that sequence. Just like losing the Habs skater, like I promise you, if he knows he's coming up behind him, he's not going to dump the puck off either, right? Like he's not gonna drop the puck if he knows that an opponent is right next to him. So that decision already was not a great decision. And then on top of that, obviously he gets hit. He very clearly gets hit. And then I don't need to just like re-explain what you just explained with the situation, but it was not good, man. That was a really, really, really bad penalty. And
can't take
we just had a say that again.
I was just saying you can't take that penalty there.
You can. And like that, it's I don't know, man. We had the conversation literally yesterday about what needs to happen for Alex Lyon to get into a hockey game.
That was it.
If there was ever, right? Like if there was literally ever a moment or ever a game in which you needed to point to be like, hey, maybe, or like the last 2 games for both goalies, right? Even if you don't want to put it all on Reimer, like Husso hasn't been good either.
Yeah.
If you want to, let's look at the last 2 Red Wings games. Maybe let's get the third goalie we are rostering right now an opportunity, because 2 games ago your starter
got
shelled, and now your backup didn't have a great game already, and then took one of the most egregious goalie penalties I've seen in recent memory.
Yeah.
In like the most crucial part of the hockey game.
And it's bad when we constantly get comments about how soft we are on the goalies.
Right. And I mean, we are the most infamous or famous, depending on what side of the aisle you're on, I guess, goalie defenders, the most staunch goalie defenders out there.
That's how bad it is when we're like,
there is nothing to say, man. That was just a really bad decision in the moment. Like he literally was bear hugging the stick, and then afterwards he was like, "What?" I was like, "Dude."
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I said my piece. I already ranted. I yelled into the mic. I heard it echo in the room. That's how loud I yelled right now.
Yeah, I'm echoing too.
So, anyways, one of our other 3 keys, right? You mentioned it. We kind of went 0 for 3, was top line production. And I'm not to the point yet where I want to advocate for like a shakeup on the top line, because when I'm watching the game, they are still, and I keep saying this, they are still consistently the line that is able to get into the offensive zone and generate opportunities, whether that be with its speed, with their, stick handling ability, but they get in the offensive zone and they can get shot attempts off. I mean, Dylan Larkin hit the post today. Alex DeBrincat, man, I mean, he's been having an issue of hitting the post and missing the net on a lot of shots. But it's kind of one of those things where in today's game, while they were also one of the only offensive lines that could consistently generate opportunities, I also saw like the worst qualities that each of those players had to offer in this game as well. Alex DeBrincat over stick handling. He's not a great passer, making not so great passes. Dylan Larkin, obviously using his speed to break into the zone, but holding onto the puck for too long, trying to do everything himself. I saw sometimes as well. And maybe he feels a little bit of the burden to do that because he's a spark plug. Like he knows that he's got to do that as the captain. But there was a lot of times where he would carry the puck, lose it, and it'd go back the other way. And that's also on his teammates for not getting open and being an outlet. And then Lucas Raymond, God love him. I know he's a playmaker, pass first guy, but dude, when you have a lane to shoot it and you're in the slot, shoot the puck. Don't make the extra pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he in OT in particular, like you just mentioned, was another example. Like, I need DeBrincat to shoot quicker, make simpler passes. I need Raymond to pass less and shoot more. And Dylan Larkin's doing everything he can. I really don't have that much of a criticism on him. I mean, he's just circling the zone looking for anything. But that top line has gone just absolutely quiet after a rip roar and start to the season. And I don't know. Again, this falls on Lalonde in my eyes. I mean, you're the head coach. I know you're a first-time head coach, second season, but this is on you to motivate these guys. And I go back to what I was saying after the loss to the Panthers. I don't know if this is a system thing. Like, is he trying to force the team to play a system that doesn't suit their play style? Like, is he trying to get them buy into a system and like change the way they play? Kind of like Scotty Bowman, not to try to equate the two, right? But Scotty Bowman did that with Steve Yzerman. Steve Yzerman bought in, changed the way he played the game, and the team flourished because of that. Is he trying to do that with this team? Or is it just like the guys are really frustrated right now, so nothing's clicking? Or maybe it's both. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, and like we can have a conversation like on an off day or something. We can have a much more in-depth conversation about the system that's implemented and whatnot. I still think it's a little early in this season to like jump to anything like too brash. But I will say that the one thing
that's what I do.
Right, I know. But the one thing that I will say is that I think that's something that does directly fall on Lalonde and this coaching staff that has been an issue all season and was very not good tonight and has, again, been a pretty prominent thing all year is not necessarily like a high amount of penalties. Not that like the penalties are astronomically high or like ridiculously high or anything, but I will say that the timeliness of like there have been already we're what, a month into the season, and there is already multiple games. Like the fact that it's not like only one or two, like it's like closer to 3, 4, 5 like games where the team has taken a ridiculously awful timed penalty, like at the end of the fourth quarter or in overtime, and it has directly cost them a game. Is unacceptable this early in the year, and like that's something I very much put right on Lalonde and the coaching staff, and I think again, they don't pay me to fix those mistakes. They pay him to. So like, I don't have like a direct answer of like, oh, just tell everybody this and they'll stop like taking bad penalties. But like that has to be ironed out, man. Like that is directly costing you points in the standings night after night at this point. And it's egregious.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, man. This is a Lalonde problem. And I mean, a little bit of Dylan Larkin problem as well. Like you're the captain, you got to do something. But
well, it's also just a play. I mean, the players play, man. Like I get it. Like I'm, the system matters, the coaching matters, all of that. Absolutely. Again, I don't disagree with anything that's been said, but like at the end of the day, like Reimer bear hugged a stick. Like, you know what I mean? Like Lalonde didn't tell him to do that. Like
but Lalonde is in charge of getting the guys going for everything that happened before that. Like, what were they doing leading up to that point? The team is just really disjointed right now. And to your point, and we got to get to another quick break. The last thing I say about your penalties, you bring a good point. They do take a lot of penalties, and I think that is a lot to do with because they're a slower team than most of the teams they play, and they lose. It goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. Slow. They lose the races. They lose the battles to the puck in the corner. They lose the battles along the wall. They lose the net front battles as well. And when you're losing those constant small interactions, you're forced to take a penalty to try and recover and stop a scoring.
They're compensating.
Yeah. And that's going to lead. You can't win hockey games that way. And we talked about it when they had won 5 straight. We said that constantly, that if they don't get better at 5-on-5, that's going to catch up with them. Well, they're 2-4-2 if my math is right in the last 8 games, because it caught up with them. Whatever. We had to quit to a break, and when we come back, I want to give a quick shout out to one thing I did like from this hockey game, and then we'll do a quick preview of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Stay tuned to Locked On Red Wings. Got to talk to you guys today about Jace Medical. Whether you're on extended travel, bracing for a major weather event, or limited by yet another supply shortage, Jace Medical has you covered. Thanks to our partners over at Jace Medical, life-saving antibiotics and a long list of medications can be ordered in a 1-year supply. Even ED generics for Cialis, Viagra, and Revatio prescriptions. Go online right now at jacemedical.com to receive 12-month supply on your daily medication. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for a discount as well. A verified customer had this to say about Jace. I'm thankful for their service. Supply chain issues caused me to have to cut my pills in half. I ordered most of my daily meds with a year supply. I also ordered an antibiotic kit. I feel secure now. Prices are lower than local pharmacies. I highly recommend this for everyone. Again, that is a verified customer and what they had to say about Jace. If you or someone you love would like some peace of mind by having a year supply of any daily med, go to jacemedical.com to see if it's offered for you. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your purchase. Segment 3, Locked On Red Wings podcast. Scotty and I are, I guess, going to sing some praises, like one line in particular.
Sure.
Joe Veleno, again, I've been seeing his praises all year long at 5-on-5. He's like the only guy who's consistently out there with a spark. He's got speed. He's got some hands to him. He's generating chances for other guys. He started the game on the 3rd line, got promoted to the 2nd line by the end of the game. And that 2nd line of Copp, first of all, the Copp Compher connection has been really good pretty much all season long. Even if they're not scoring, they're part of that shutdown line we were critical of for not scoring, but we're playing good defensively. Well, now they are scoring, and Joe Veleno jumped on that line and he didn't miss a beat. Compher obviously had a beautiful, just short side goal in a very sloppy 3rd period. Like both teams looked awful in the 3rd, but it was a mad scramble in the corner. Puck
was a heck of a shot, man.
Yeah.
Compher's goal was a beauty.
I really liked that line as a whole. And honestly, I think Joe Veleno, it's kind of crazy. You have 3 guys you were hoping to be centers for your team playing on the 2nd line.
Yeah, that's good point. Yeah.
Because they're the only players on this team right now that are playing with any sort of energy. But it looked like a pretty decent 2nd line there in the limited playing time we saw. And I think Joe Veleno has been looking really good. I say play the hot hand. See if he can handle 2nd line minutes with that pair up there. And if he does, you got to figure something out with your line 3 and 4 centers. I don't know if that means Rasmussen stays center and maybe you move Fabry to center or keep Zarnik up, who to play center as well for longer term. But Joe Veleno deserves it, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. They need to figure out how to get. Well, I was gonna say how to get production out of the top line or the top 6, but man, it feels like the last few games there hasn't really been consistent production out of anywhere, any of the 4 lines, to be honest. So. But yeah, Valeno looked good again. He got some prominent overtime minutes as well. I think it's well deserved. Yeah. Oh, also that I don't even have to bring it up, but like that Wallman pass was in overtime was one of the worst passes I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know how it didn't cost him the game.
Well, again, this whole team has just looked really disjointed. Like we talked about them having to play a simple game in yesterday's episode, right? And playing
this game was not simple. Let me tell you, this was consistent attempts to overcomplicate a simple plan. Apparently,
well, because to play a simple game, you need to be in the right spot at all times.
Yeah.
To play a simple game, you have to know your teammate and where they're going to be at instinctively because the system is imbued into you. The system's clearly not imbued into them yet. Players are never in spots they're supposed to be. And I could go on a huge rant. We've done it before. Maybe we'll say that for a different day. But yeah, I want to give a quick shout out. Oh, Christian Fischer, first NHL goal. He didn't punch that in intentionally. It went off his glove, but he didn't direct it in that direction. It was a good goal. It stood. It was a dirty goal. Wasn't sexy by any means.
Hey,
broken play, but I'll take it.
That's what dogs do, baby.
That's what dogs do. They play the Blue Jackets on Saturday at 1:00 at LCA. I don't know what in regards to previews you want to do here. I mean, Ivan Provorov
I vote. Here's something. I vote our 3 keys to the game are the exact same 3 because
I completely agree.
We went 0 for 3 with them in this game, and you're still playing a team you're better than. So maybe just do those things actually this time.
I mean, this is a team that's even worse than the Montreal Canadiens. Their team leader in points is Ivan Provorov with 9 points in 12 games.
Habs are over 500 now.
Yeah,
I know
because
that's like,
you lost
like
them.
you know, hockey's points, like whatever, but they have more wins than losses now after tonight. So
fantastic. Goaltending for them has been hit or miss. Miros Linkus has an .897 save percentage in 9 games, but Spencer Martin out of nowhere, 5 games played, .928 save percentage.
Yeah, man.
So he's been pretty good for them. I mean, at 5-on-5, you're 25th, they're 23rd in the league at
worse than
the Blue Jackets.
The Blue Jackets at 5.
And that's before tonight's game.
That's
which,
awesome.
By the way, you lost the 5-on-5 battle against the Canadiens as well.
Correct. Yeah. So I vote instead of top line production, we just flip. Our 3 keys will be better than one of the worst teams in the NHL at 5-on-5. Like good goaltending performance, and for the love of everything on this planet, please do not get off to a slow start.
Right. And I don't want to beat the dead horse, right? I mean, as the season goes on, we identify trends and we talk about those trends nonstop, whether that be good trends or bad trends, because that's what the team is. And right now, this team is just on a really bad trend. And I know that I know that this cannot be what this team is, right? Like they cannot be this bad long term. They've got to be better than this. But they are just in a really bad stretch right now. And I'm waiting for them to, instead of regress to the mean, like...
Yeah, water finds its level. Yeah.
What's the opposite of regress? Improve?
Yeah, well, it's still... it's still same. It's still the same thing. Yes, water finds its level. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even have, like... The statistics in this game don't matter to me. The Columbus Blue Jackets are on paper, they are a team that you should beat. And if you do not beat them, I will come on here and I will say some things that I might regret down the line because I will be very livid. Although it'll take place a day later, so maybe we'll have time to cool down. Who knows? But
you won't.
I think you got to beat the Blue Jackets, man. You should have beaten the Montreal Canadiens. You shouldn't have lost to them. But this is getting to a point where it's getting like unacceptable levels. Like 2-4-2 in this stretch is bad, especially losing to divisional opponents. And especially after the Bruins game, I don't know. I could go on. I could complain and moan for an hour, but we got to wrap this up.
I agree.
What are your final thoughts?
We ball. Guys,
I'm really sorry. I don't want to be Mr. Negative. I really don't want to be Mr. Negative.
No, you don't need to apologize. Like there's not a really too much of a positive spin. This is like they're
just playing so bad right now.
This is the least enthusiastic point in recent memory. Like I don't think anyone's happy with a point here. Like that was a sloppy hockey game that you should have got 2 in. From puck drop, you should have got 2. Nonetheless, then in overtime, you should have got 2. It was a ridiculous end to the game. That there's I don't think anyone's gonna dog on you for being negative after this one. That was a really, really brutal hockey game.
Just win against Columbus, and then we'll be so back. Simple solution.
We'll be so back.
Get 1 win, and then we'll be back.
That's all we need to be back. Just a win.
Stanley Cup final, baby. Here we come. Same time, same place. See your team every day.